Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Hi.
Hi, baby.
Hi.
What's going on? Yeah, hi. Hey, before we get into this episode, I want to talk to our listeners about our studio
What studio?
our studio. That we're in our studio right now.
We're
so
in
it's
our office.
That's what I'm getting at. It's our studio / office / fitness room. And I've been sitting here and I've been looking at the fitness equipment, which is the recumbent, the treadmill, the elliptical, little bouncy balls and jump ropes.
Not a
and
bouncy ball.
a
You
little
sit
ball.
on it. Or you lay on it. Or you do things
that
on it.
little ball there and all of that.
Are you just saying that they're just sitting there and nobody's using it?
Yeah, I'm thinking we could use that space for something else.
I'll get right on exercising.
Because
If that was your point, I'll start using it.
I do not like exercise equipment at all. So, please,
Not even
listeners,
an elliptical?
I hate that. That's a torture device.
What about the heavy bag we used to have?
It's not in here anymore, is it?
But
Our grandson has it.
Yes, he has it. Paying it for it.
But anyway, Jill, we need to get into what our episode is this week. What is our episode?
It's okay.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Well,
our episode's okay today.
Since this week starts off with a holiday, we thought this week we're talking about holidays with family, friends, and loved ones. It's part of a segment that we call
Stand by your stance.
So clearly this year is a little bit different about a holiday.
And this is what, because of COVID?
Because of COVID. And
is it different?
Some people have a fear of, leaving their house because they might get killed.
I bet you there's a segment of people in this country that the holidays will be no different for them.
You think so? So how do you think they normally spend their holidays?
No social distancing, just a regular holiday. Everybody's together with no mask and everything. So I think a lot of people are going to just go back to the way it was so they can enjoy the holiday. Because
what? COVID? They think COVID's over?
Yes.
Or won't get them?
It's made up. It's invented.
COVID is made up.
It's invented.
After hundreds of thousands of deaths, COVID is made up.
It's made up. I've actually had people tell me that COVID is not real. It's made up.
I don't understand that. Does not compute at all.
Anyway, but if we're talking about the holidays, so for us, it's going to be different. But I thought I would bring up things that have happened to people and us in past holidays.
Okay.
So, like some people in their families, they know that around the holidays, somebody's going to jail.
You know people like this?
Yes, I know people like that.
Why do they end up in jail?
Somebody's going to jail.
Who are these people that you know that end up in jail? Do I know them?
Somebody's going. So, okay, you have family that you love and you haven't seen them in a long time. And a lot of them, it's good that you haven't seen them in a long time because you don't get along. So you have, it happens at Christmas a lot.
Well, I was going to say, it seems
Christmas
that weddings
holidays
and funerals bring out the worst in people.
Yes. But
I have witnessed fights at both.
Yeah, but even at 4th of July or Thanksgiving or Christmas, so family gets together and usually it's the alcohol that plays a big part in all of this. So, it's festivities and, everybody's having a good time and they're having drinks and all of that. And somebody decides they want to go on a beer run or a liquor run, but they've already had too much to drink, right?
Okay.
So they say, hey, I've had too much to drink. Will somebody be the designated driver? And somebody says, I will. but they had too much to drink too.
Well, you know what's happening now?
What?
There have been many towns and cities that have passed ordinances where liquor stores can deliver.
Oh yeah. I've heard about that.
So this year, if people are spending the holiday season with, they want alcohol, they don't have to go anywhere. They can just get it delivered.
That's really good because, I have never spent a holiday in jail.
That's good.
But I know people that have spent holidays in jail.
Because they drank too much and did what? What did they do after they drank too much?
They'll go driving, or they want to, they might want to go to places in town, especially if they grew up in that town and they moved away. They might go to places that bring back fond memories and all of that, but they're drunk. And then while they're out, they get pulled over. And
so you're talking about people who get arrested because of DUIs.
Well, not just DUIs. That's not the only thing that goes wrong on holidays, because families, even though they love each other, sometimes they get into fights on holidays. They start fighting with each other,
Yes, I have done that myself. I wasn't even drunk. I was perfectly sober.
Yeah,
but it wasn't a physical fight. I fight with words.
Yeah, but some families get into physical fights, So, but I'm bringing this up because maybe having COVID, where we can only do like Zoom gatherings.
You don't think there could be fights on Zoom?
But nobody will go to jail. You see, no one will go to jail. The police won't be involved.
Okay.
So I think it's probably going to be a good thing.
So you think fewer people will be arrested?
Yes, because of COVID.
Because of COVID. That is, if they're following the rules and not going places and gathering just as they used to do.
Yes, it'll be good. So if they're drinking at home and they don't leave the house because they're on Zoom and talking to their family and stuff.
Well, but I still think conversations, especially if you're in a relationship, and let's say you are married, or even if you aren't, but you're in a relationship, and let's say you're on a Zoom with your loved, whoever you're in a relationship with, you're on
in-laws
Zoom with their family.
In-laws,
well, maybe you're not married yet. Maybe you're just, maybe you're meeting them for the first time via Zoom, but when you get a whole family together, and you're the one that's new, just like even if you were to do it in person, right? Sometimes people, I feel, or this is what I have observed in this year of Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting, is that people sometimes, they remember they're on camera, but it's that whole social media, the con of social media is that a lot of people say things because they can hide behind their computer. So sometimes it could be worse on a Zoom meeting because they think you can't get to me. I'm here. You're there. I can say what I want.
Oh, I need
you can kick me out of the room if you want, out of the Zoom room or whatever you're using.
I didn't
You didn't think of that?
I didn't think of that. So maybe
you haven't done as many Zoom meetings as I have.
So maybe I should turn my junk talking up a little bit this year,
just because they can't
get me.
Well,
but
understand
get me.
But you haven't done very many Zoom meetings, so people can, whoever the host is, they can mute you. So they could just turn you off anytime they want to.
That's okay. I'll still be. Still see my mouth moving and my fingers waving. And they will be so intrigued by me with all this mouth moving and finger waving and head tilting.
The host can kick you out too. They'll just kick you out of the room.
Then
You're gone.
I'll start texting.
They won't let you
texting
in.
and calling, and you're not gonna kick me out.
So see, you just proved that you can still fight.
But nobody gets in trouble. Nobody gets in trouble. But you know what? I just thought of something. I thought about like one of the. It wasn't the first time I met your family, but it was like the second time.
Oh, I'm not sure.
We went to
like
Kentucky.
Wherever this is going.
We went to Kentucky.
Are you sure you want to say this on a podcast?
And your uncles.
Oh, don't talk about my uncles. They're no longer with us.
We love.
They can't defend themselves right now.
They know it's true. They would own up to this.
They would, because they talked about it every time they saw you.
So your uncles, as an initiation to me, to see whether I was worthy of being in the family, they would say, "Come on, Tony, go with us. Come with us. We're going to the store. We're going to Home Depot or something." Okay, yeah, no problem.
I don't think it was Home Depot. There wasn't a Home Depot where they lived.
Was Lowe's, actually. It was Lowe's. They said we were going to Lowe's because we were going to go to E-Town.
Okay.
So we were going to go to Lowe's.
He's talking about Kentucky, listeners.
Yes, in Kentucky. We were going to drive to
And by the way, this is one, as Tony tells you all this story, listeners, this is another reason why I always thought I was adopted when I was younger. Because I am nothing like my family in this
That's
regard.
right. So as many of you know, that Jill is like 4'11", and her uncles were like
both over 6 feet.
6'2", 6'4".
Bobby was 6'4".
6'4".
And Carlos was shorter than him, but around 6 feet.
Yeah. And one was he was CIA.
No, Secret Service.
Secret Service. So one was Secret Service, and they both had been in the military. So these are big guys, and I'm 5'10", 175 pounds. So come on, Tony, come on with us. So we get in a car together. I'm sitting in the back seat, and they start talking about passing gas.
I'm shaking my head.
What the heck is going on? These guys are talking about passing gas, and then they start passing gas in the car. Here, that's for you.
Car,
and this is for you. And they kind of hike up one butt cheek
again
and let one out.
I have never been like this.
And I told them, I said, "Hey, you guys don't need to mess with me because I take medication, and I always have some gas in me." So that was like my initiation.
So you gave it back?
Of course I'm going to do it. I don't want to look like I was a wimp and couldn't hold my own against the big guys.
I have to say, I didn't know any of this was I knew you were in the car with them, but I didn't know what they were doing to you. But tell what happened when you got back.
I don't know what happened.
Well, they obviously accepted you because they came up to me. Jill, he's a keeper. He's a keeper. So I didn't realize what you did to make them think you were a keeper.
Yeah. So, but my point is, with a Zoom family meeting, a family holiday, I don't have to worry about anybody passing gas on me.
Well, not in person, but they could still do it.
Yeah, but it's not in person. I won't smell it.
What if you hear it? That's just as bad. All of a sudden, we're all having a wonderful conversation, and so we could hear someone pass gas.
I don't understand it, but that's your family. And I know the listeners really think I'm lying now because they know you, and they know
again nothing like them.
And
so
they
I used to question whether I was adopted because I was so different from my family.
And I know, just as the listeners know, you are too good to pass gas. You are way above that kind of flatulence.
I think every human has that. But
not you, Jill.
Unlike
not
my
you,
uncles,
Jill. Not you, Jill. You do not pass gas.
Not in front of people.
We've been together 15 years, and I've never heard you pass gas.
Not in front of people, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to purposely pass gas in front of people like my uncles did.
Okay. Well, see, that's one good thing that comes out of COVID. You have these Zoom meetings and you don't have to smell anyone passing gas.
But you still might hear them, is my point.
That's not as bad.
So what happens if you're the, if you're me, what happens? What would you do now if my uncles were still living and if they did that over a Zoom meeting?
I would say, here's one back at you.
So see, nothing changes.
I got some Zoom mail for you.
Oh my goodness.
They used to say air mail. So I got some Zoom mail for you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But at least I wouldn't have to smell it. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing we have Zoom and COVID going around so we can have these Zoom meetings and don't have to experience it. And like the other thing is, if one of your relatives, you just get tired of listening to, mute, just shut them up.
Well, you can only do that if you're the host. You can't mute them.
We're going to be the host. We already set it up, didn't we? It's already set up that we're the host. Right?
Yes. Yes. So the next time we have an episode, we'll have to tell our listeners. We'll have to tell our listeners how that went.
Yes, we will. But it's gonna be like we're king and queen.
Aren't we anyway? I thought I always was. You mean I haven't been this whole time? Didn't know.
Yes, you are a queen, but we'll have the power to shut somebody up.
Yes, but what about for our listeners' sake?
Yes.
What if they're not the ones who... Well, okay, there are two scenarios I see playing out for our listeners.
Okay.
Either they're not the one, either they've been invited to a Zoom session, Zoom party, or they've been invited to one that's in person. So let's start with the one in person. Let's say that someone invites you to something where they do say they're going to practice social distancing and everyone has to wear a mask and they have chairs, situated, spaced out and all of that. But again, you're with your mate and you're not used to all the other people who are there.
But they're your family.
But they might be their family. Maybe it's not your family.
The in-laws. You're with the in-laws.
You're assuming they're married. Maybe they're not.
Okay, maybe they're not.
Or maybe they got together.
Maybe they're friends of your partner.
What if they're single and they've been talking to their new boyfriend, new girlfriend, whatever?
Oh,
through
all
COVID,
the friends
and now everybody
check
is
the guy
well, you might
out.
be meeting them for the first time in person.
Yeah. So what's up with that?
So if you started this conversation by saying that holidays tend to bring out the worst in people, so how do you handle?
It can, not always. But
true.
Yeah.
Well, every scenario you've given today is like worst case scenario. You might end up in jails. Somebody might pass gas on you. So everything you said so far is bringing out the worst.
Thinking about the things I can avoid, because of a holiday Zoom meeting instead.
But right now I'm asking, what if it's in person? And so the first time you meet somebody, you've got a mask on, so they can only see your eyes. And for some people that works, but for someone like me who's quite expressive with my eyes, like you don't even have to see my whole face to know what I'm thinking.
Yes,
because my eyes will tell you for sure. I can't hide that.
Yes.
So but you're so excited to be out of the house and with people.
Yes.
Because none of us have had a lot of opportunity to do that. So how does that work? Like, do you think?
Well, I can only talk from experience. And you and I did go to a small birthday party.
Yes. Where they practiced social distancing. We all had on masks.
And there were people there that I hadn't met before.
Most of the people there.
That's right.
Yes.
But it didn't take them long to realize I didn't have any sense.
That is true.
So see, my personality
because, again, with
still
their
comes
eyes,
through.
even though they had masks on, with their eyes, we knew for sure that they're like, "Who is this guy?"
Well, that's right. So they knew, you can cover me with a mask, but I'm still me. You see, it's still going to come through.
So you're saying, if you're in a relationship and you're meeting people for the first time, or you might even be meeting the person you've been talking to all this time for the first time in person.
That is possible.
So
yes.
you're saying just be yourself.
Really be yourself.
Whoever that is.
Yes.
And if you drink while you're there, because alcohol, to me, is alcohol. I've long said that COVID has brought out who people really are. So if you were a good person before, COVID has made you an even better person. If you were a mean-spirited, crazy, wackadoodle person before, wackadoodle person before,
that's the first time I've said wackadoodle.
Me too. I just gotta make that up.
You use that like every day.
No, I say wacky a lot, but wackadoodle, I just said. But anyway, COVID makes that person even more so too. So with alcohol, do you think that's true too?
Well, they know that yes, but alcohol does other things to you.
Yes, it
so
does.
They have found out that even if people are social distancing and they have a mask and they just lift up their mask to take a sip, or they have a straw. Well,
a straw,
in your drink.
You drink
alcohol.
With a straw?
A mixed drink, yes. You can drink a mixed drink with a straw.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm thinking wine. Like, who drinks wine with a straw?
No, nobody drinks wine with a straw.
Okay.
But what they found is once they start drinking, they forget about social distancing and keeping their mask on and all of that. So if they all had enough drinks,
go out the window.
They go out the window. They've done studies. They found this out. That's why they are trying to close bars earlier and stuff, because people just, they'll start out that way. But at the end of the night, there's no more social distancing. There's no more mask or anything else. So that's what could happen in person.
True.
And I could see where it could be very awkward for the people that aren't drinking.
Yeah. if you're trying to stay within precautions.
You're trying to get away from them, and they're trying to get closer to you every time you
That's kind of like a cartoon where they're chasing each other back and forth.
That's right. Every time you take a step backwards, they take a step forward. I gotta tell you something else.
Well, I think it's time to get to our second segment we call
Give It a Rest and a Resolution.
So, do you have a conclusion, a resolution on this? We've been all over the place with this topic.
Yes, we have. But I do, even though I miss seeing my loved ones in person, I think that when we do a Zoom holiday, that I'll really enjoy it, because we'll get to interact with each other, which is something unique for the Cordovas.
Yes, we didn't even talk about your family. We talked a lot about my family, but we didn't even talk about what happens when the Cordovas get together.
We'll talk about my family after the holiday.
Yes, we will. So beware, Cordovas. Well, my conclusion is that holidays are a special time. So if you do have the opportunity to spend time with family or friends, or with your whoever, your mates, family and friends, I like what you said earlier, is that it's a special time, and just enjoy that time, because even though people think COVID's over, it is killing people. Yes. It is a deadly disease. So just cherish that time that you have with people and act accordingly. If you're cherishing something, I do believe that people act a certain way if they cherish that time.
Okay, that sounds good. That's pretty good.
Okay, well then let's get to our third segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Well, I sort of gave advice already. Do you have any advice?
Yes, I do. This is very easy. So in times of COVID and dealing with family and, the connections, the physical connections that you have not been able to have. But I always believe if you're in a bad situation, try to make it a good situation. Try to find some good in that situation. So whatever it is. So if you can't see your family in person, cherish that you can see them at all. Because things could happen in this world where you can't contact a family member any kind of way. If all communications go down, let's say, and all vehicles stop working, you can't get to see your family. You can't get to talk to them or anything. So cherish that, at least we can do Zoom. Cherish that and enjoy it.
That's good advice. Well, I want to give advice to the people who may be all alone during the holidays. One thing that these, whatever video platforms you've been invited to, is that you don't have to be alone. You don't have to travel. You don't have to, leave your house to see someone and interact. You and I joke about it, Tony, but, I've hardly left the house since March, right? I have left the house, but I have hardly left the house.
Yes.
Right. But there are some people that, you might think you want to be alone during a holiday. But at least I believe is staying connected with at least one person during a holiday. So that, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling alone, sometimes just that simple little interaction. I have interacted with people a lot over Zoom or whatever video platform I have. And in fact, I know a lot of people who have become more social
because of it.
Yeah. Like they would turn down every invitation, but now they're, joining and interacting with people 3 and 4 times a week now. So at least take a holiday to get outside of your own head, and get out of the bed, get dressed, at least from the, waist
Jill.
up.
Yeah, get dressed.
I'm dressed. Most of the days I do get dressed. And talk to somebody. Just interact, even if for a few minutes.
That's good advice.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's get to our last segment that we call.
So, what do you think? What do you think?
Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
So again, listeners, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you think about things. So we want to know, how did you spend your Labor Day weekend? How did you spend your Labor Day weekend?
Yeah.
Was it with with loved ones? What did you do?
Yeah.
Tell us that. Or you could always respond to previous episodes. And you can do that by calling, what's the number?
The number is 404-594-2247. 404-594-2247. And also, remember, listeners, you can call about anything. If you have an idea about an episode you'd like us to do, you can call and suggest it. If you want to ask us a specific question about us, and if you haven't met us before, feel free to leave a voice message and we will probably answer. Probably.
Answer during the podcast, you mean?
During the podcast.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it for this episode. You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm Right.
My name is Jill Cox Cordova.
My name is Anthony Cordova. What do you think of that?
Okay. All right. Shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Zinke for the art. And thank you, listeners. We'll see you next time. Be safe.
Yeah, be safe. I like the way you say Nick is Zinke.
You like the way I say Nick's name?
Zinke.
We'll have to ask Nick if he likes the way I say his name.
Nick Zinke.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.